Welcome back, Internet, to another Reddit story. This is a Tales from Retail Kyoto Combat Edition. I just had something recently happen to me and I need to share it. So here we go. So let me first start off by saying, if you guys are new to the channel and you don't know anything about me, I've worked in retail for a number of years. Mainly, I worked as a pharmacy tech for 7 years. And then I've worked on the other side of retail for about 5-6 years. So I'm just starting off by saying that. That's where I'm coming from anyway. So here's a little backstory. Last November, I quit my job as a pharmacy tech. I did the whole later, I'm gone, just walked out because I put up with too much stuff there. So I thought going into the winter months, it'd be easy to find a job. Well, that didn't happen. I could not find a job. Everyone had already hired their winter help. So I've been pretty desperate for a job. It took me until March until I was able to actually find a job. I was desperate enough where I took a job working overnight stocking at a Smith's grocery store here that's local. If you don't know Smith's, it's a subsidiary of Kroger. Kroger is a United States national grocery conglomerate, I guess. So it's basically a grocery store. Anyway, so I was hired on to do overnight stocking freight. And my first day, I come into work expecting someone to kind of show me the ropes because I've had no training at this point. And I go and I introduce myself to a girl that ended up being the supervisor for the shift. I just said, hey, I'm the new guy here, and she cuts me off by saying, man, you don't want to work here. It's terrible. I hate my job. I've been here for 6-7 years and I absolutely hate it. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. Then she says, go grab a pallet jack and start wheeling stuff out. And I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Grab a pallet jack and start wheeling stuff out. I'm like, okay, I'll start wheeling stuff out. That was my training. I had no idea where things went, so I was slow doing my job, and I'm sitting there trying to tell them, hey, I need a little bit of time to figure out where things go. And it was like that for 2 months. I was trying to find out where things go because we had thousands of different items and I couldn't remember where things went. I was slowly learning and I was slowly getting better, but talk about hitting the ground running. My entire training there was, oh, you're doing it that way, don't do it that way. Not, here's how you're supposed to do it. It's, oh, you're not supposed to be doing it that way. It's like, instead of like tell me how to do things properly the first time, they would constantly tell me, no, you're not supposed to do that. No, you're not supposed to do that. So zero training, and I'm sitting there trying to figure things out my own. With the stock crew, you pretty much worked on your own. You got an aisle and you worked it. And the only kind of feedback I got from them was positive. I never had, my entire time that I worked there at that store, I got just positive feedback. I never heard any negative feedback. The only thing that could be said as a negative feedback would be like, oh, you're not doing that the right way, here's how to do it. They eventually started cutting my hours back in the freight crew and started giving me some hours working in natural foods. Natural foods is like gluten-free stuff, that kind of stuff, like organics. Anyway, so I started working that, which was great. I liked it. It was a little bit of shorter shifts, but I got to work literally by myself. I was given a list of tasks to do at night. I did it and I went home. Again, all I heard was positive feedback from my boss that worked during the day. I would get notes and text messages from her, which I'm going to start posting on here. I'm just going to post all of it. The beauty about my complaint is that the entire communication log was done in text message, so I can show you exactly what was said and everything. So they scheduled me 40 hours, which was great because I initially wanted full-time position. And then the next week they scheduled me 5 hours. So I was like, okay, I can't work at a place where they're gonna like screw around with my hours that drastically. And 5 hours a week, no one can live off of that. So she wanted me to come in for training. And so I was like, ugh, I don't know if I should go in for training if my intentions are to leave. So she asked me if I could come in at 6 o'clock. I replied, well, I could, but honestly, I've been looking for another job. It's probably not the best idea for me to be saying this to you until I know I have a job offer, but it wouldn't be fair to you if I went and did more training when I probably wouldn't be there much longer. Besides that, I work tonight until 3. It wouldn't be ideal to then come back at 6 a.m. for me tomorrow. She replies, I was going to have you come in the morning instead at night so I can be there to show you what is expected. I could if you'd still like to show me. I just wanted to let you know my intentions, just so you didn't have to go through all that training just to find out I'd be leaving soon. I just want to be honest and fair with you. Okay, good luck on your job search. Thanks. Just for clarification, would you want me to come in tonight at 10 or tomorrow at 6 a.m.? I guess just come in at 10 and then get dairy 100% complete. That means yogurt and drinks that are not a vendor item. Grocery and then condition what time you have left. No need to train if you're leaving. Got it. Thanks. So, as far as I knew, she knew that I was probably going to be eventually leaving, but I kind of give her a heads up. You can see that it's now normal business as usual. As far as I could tell, no problem, right? I go in one night and there's this big old pallet there waiting for me, something that I really haven't seen before because I haven't been trained on what to do on certain things. So I ask her, hey, what do I do with this? She says, oh, well, it looks like that the dairy people didn't work that night, so go ahead and work that. So that night I did not get everything done. So I get a text message from her saying, hey, your next 2 shifts, I need you to come in during the day. So I go in at 7 o'clock last Tuesday and I start working. She says that she's not going to be there until 7:30, but I go ahead and I do my job, and she starts asking me, well, how do you do this? I'm like, well, I do it this way. She's like, no, you're not supposed to do it that way. I'm like, yeah, I haven't been trained. And she does that a couple more times with a couple of other things. She even went as far as to say that she sent me a photo of a diagram on how she wanted things. And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, no, you didn't. I even went on my break through my phone and scrolled up to see if I missed a photo somewhere, and there was no photo. Anyway, so for my second shift that she wanted me to come in, she then instead said, you know what, you don't have to come on in. You can work at night or day. It doesn't matter either way. She even went as far as to say that I did an awesome job on Tuesday. So again, I feel like everything's okay, right? So in the meantime, during all this, I actually found another job, did a drug test, background check, and then I got a job offer. My first starting date is on the 10th, which is about a week and a half later. So I send her this message. I just got a full-time job offer sent to me just now. They would like me to start 6/10 next Monday. I know I said I was looking for another job before, I just didn't know I'd be offered one with such a fast start date. That being said, Saturday night would be my latest I would be able to work before leaving. I don't know what my schedule is like next week. I checked Mike's desk and my name wasn't on the schedules. If you don't mind sending me a copy of next week's schedule, I would be able to clarify when my last shift would be. Thanks. She then replies, tonight is your last shift unless someone calls in. When you decided not to come in and get trained last week, when I asked you to, I didn't schedule you any further. I then say, hold up. As a courtesy to you, I let you know what I was intending to do as a gesture. I never said that I didn't want more shifts. She says, I can't waste hours on someone who isn't trained. Sorry, I did what I was told to do. I reply, then what was the point of me coming in earlier this week for training? It wasn't for training. It was so I could keep an eye on you and I would get my department worked properly. Things were not getting done at night. If you have any other issues with this, talk to these people. She's there right now. I reply back, that's not true. With the exception of Saturday last week, I have left every shift with everything you wanted done. I even got positive feedback from you and other people there. The only time I got negative feedback was Tuesday. I only really okay with one night and Tuesday. The rest of the time, my list barely got half done. Sorry, communication is hard with overnights, which is why I asked you to come in and work with me and you said that you would rather not. I then quote a previous text saying, it's probably not the best idea for me to be saying this until I know I have a job offer, but it wouldn't be fair to you if I went and did more training when I probably won't be there much longer. Isn't me saying I would rather not. It's me letting you know that I'm trying to be fair with you and letting you know ahead of time. Never have I received any feedback saying I'm not doing things right or fully. Poor communication from your end is not my fault. The only communication I've received has been positive up until now. So either you were lying to me before or it's a lie now. Either way, I tried to do the right thing and let you know you chose to not have me come in last week for training. That was your decision. You decided for me that it was my declaration of my 2-week notice. That's not how to manage. I think it would be best for me if I didn't come in tonight. If last night was my last official night, then I choose not to come in on this elective night. And then she ghosted me, and she never replied back after that. So that's the reason why I haven't posted for the past couple of days. I wanted to go through this and tell you guys my story, but I couldn't do it because I was just so fuming. So it's not Smith's fault for all this. Smith's was a good company to work for. They were really nice with me, really good people there. It's just the management that they have, at least in the overnight department. They have a high turnover rate, and you could probably see why. So it's not uncommon for me to receive my schedule at the last minute. I would always have to try to hunt down my schedule because there was no like desk for me to go to because I was my own department overnight nutrition guy. So me requesting to see my schedule at the last minute wasn't uncommon. So she went ahead without telling me, didn't give me any hours for the next week. She essentially fired me without telling me. I mean, am I reading that incorrectly? Like scheduling me 0 hours and saying that she's no longer going to be scheduling me any hours, that's essentially firing me, which she doesn't have the power to do. So yeah, and then she also says that jobs weren't getting done. Like only half of her stuff was only getting done. Well, like that's a total fabrication. She would give me a list of 4 different things to do at night, and every night I did them, with the exception of maybe, well, one that I remember, possibly 2, but over the course of a couple months, 2 nights isn't half of the stuff. But let's just assume that I was being really crappy at my job and what she was saying is true. Then why hasn't she told me this? Why hasn't she said any negative feedback? It's all been positive. She even said in the text message how awesome of a job I'm doing. So where's the lie? Is it that I'm a crappy worker and she just hasn't told me about it? Or is it that I'm doing everything and she just is making all this stuff up at the last minute? The evidence is showing that she's just making all this stuff up at the last minute. So I'm going to be going in Monday. I have notes. And I'm going to go to HR and just say, hey, I know that you guys aren't going to give me any more hours or anything like that because it's not worth the fight to get a couple more hours for my last week of working. But here's what I had to put up with. There's no training and really poor communication skills. But then I'm made out to be the bad guy and essentially fired, which she can't do. I think that some people just get a power trip where they make up their own rules as they go along. She was all fine with me because she knew that I was going to be there as an employee, and then as soon as I mentioned anything about leaving, she took it upon herself to not schedule me any more hours and doesn't tell me anything about it until I actually put in my 1.5 week notice. And then that's when she starts coming in and saying how crappy of an employee I am. Yeah, gonna go to HR with this. Thank you again for joining me on another Reddit story. If this is the first time you've seen my channel, thanks for joining. I read a lot of Reddit stories and commentary and fun stuff like that. A lot of it isn't just me complaining the whole time like this, but I had to get this off my chest, and what better to do it than share it on the interwebs with you guys. So thanks for joining me. If you liked what you saw, thumbs me up, share it with a friend, and subscribe. Down in the comments, I'm going to be linking this over to Reddit. If you want to up my Reddit posts so that I can share this with more people, because I want people to know about this because I am mad. Anyway, thanks for joining, and I'll see you guys in the next video. So until then, later, kids.